Okay, what do you want to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
It's time!
Welcome back to another night of Q&A. I am your host, Tech Coach Ralph. And here on this channel, our sole focus, our goal is to be engineered to win. If you're not familiar with me, I am a QA engineer and a technical coach, senior QA engineer. I've been doing it for the past, been in QA for the past 15-ish years. Been doing QA engineering automation for the past 12-ish to 13 years. So, and I explore a lot of different things, but we'll get into it. So I just want to thank everyone who is already here. I want to start off with Mitch. Thank you so much, Mitch, for being here. I appreciate you. You know what?
I appreciate you.
I do. I appreciate you, Mitch. Thank you for being here. And to Be Peace, who says good evening. Good evening to you as well. All right. So let's jump into our agenda. I hate when my ears stick out on these hats. Anyways, let's jump into our agenda. All right. Let's jump into our agenda for tonight. And I already have the link to call in pinned to the top of the chat, and it should be circulating as well in the chat throughout the night. So let me just make sure that is the case. And let's do that. Just a little bit of cleanup work. Ooh, last week was crazy with Q&A and cybersecurity week and all of that. I got sick at the end of last week, but I was back Saturday night, back in full force. So here we go. We don't miss here. We don't miss. All right, let me make sure this is on. Oh, there we go. It's on now. Let me just fix this one while we're here. All right. So let's jump into our agenda for tonight. Okay. So like I said, this is Q&A night. And tonight is Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. Right? We're going to jump in. We're not going to waste too much time today because I have a meeting at 9:30. So, once it hits 9:15, it is time to jump off. So we're going to get through these questions. I know. I'm going to try to stick to the timer as best as possible. trying to keep good guy happy. Make sure try to keep me accountable. Make sure I start the timer. Make sure I actually um and I actually stick to it to as best as possible. Let's not go crazy now. All right. So first and foremost, as we get started on our agenda, what I always like to do first is say thank you to all of the subscribers, the ones that have been with me for a while now, as well as the new subscribers. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please hit the notification bell as well. So thank you for being a new subscriber and being existing subscribers as well. That means a lot to me. I am happy that I'm able to add value into your life. That is my goal here, is to add value into your life so that you can level up your technical skills. And I want to give a big shout out to my tech barbarians who are joining the team and leveling up. You know, I take on different types of who need technical coaching, right? Whether you're in college and you need some help with your courses and the programming languages that you're learning, need a structure to do it, or you are trying to transition into a field, or you're already in the field and you just want to learn more, get better mentorship, get better insight. That is what I am here for, and I keep the spots very limited because time is money, and I don't have the capacity to take on a bunch of people because I have things to do. So I focus on a core group of people, and as long as they stay, it's locked down. If somebody leaves and a spot opens, then it's yours to jump on. All right. So the next thing I'm going to say is, if you haven't done so yet, which I'm pretty sure you have, but like the video, share the video everywhere. Just post it on all your social media, right? Subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live. And as I was mentioning, check out the Patreon. If you need one-on-one coaching or you need some exclusive content, like over the weekend, this past Saturday, I did a Patreon only stream where I was updating my resume live. It shows you how the strategy I approached to do it. And it was actually came out a lot easier than I thought, right? But the strategy that I approached and then the tools that I used to make it sound amazing, how I updated it to, be a little bit more specific and concise. And I'm impressed by it. Like, I would hire myself, that's what I'm saying. Anyways, so yeah, check out the Patreon, www.techcoachralph.dev, and you can see what we have over there going on. Like I said, you can get one-on-one coaching or you can get access to exclusive content. All right. So let's jump into our live show schedule. So we have Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We are focusing on Terraform. That's what we've been doing for the past maybe 3 months now. And it's going absolutely amazing. I'm learning so much. I'm so comfortable and confident in Terraform now that I could look through the documentation and just, go through it. Right. So if you are interested in infrastructure as code, I would highly, highly recommend that you tune in on Sundays. We can talk about it in the chat. And if you aren't able to tune in on Sundays, maybe you think watching the football game is a lot more important than leveling up your technical skills, then catch it on the replay. All right. And then we have Tuesday nights, which is tonight. We have our Q&A sessions, and where you can ask me questions in the chat. You can call in if you want, or I just continue to go through the questions that I have pre-stored, because a lot of times you don't even know the questions that you have until I ask it for you. All right. So those I'm putting it out there for you, right? If you want to call in and have a conversation, by all means, you don't have to be on camera either. Right. So just let me know. All right. And then Thursday nights, we have software explorations. We are continuing through automating freemindrecovery.com, which is the site or the startup of by Calculus Coder, my friend Jared over there. So we are doing some automation on his site, and we are seeing how we can make it more testable and providing that recommendation. And he is going, after I push the code up, I'm going to have, he can take that repo and import it into his project so he can have some automation testing. It is his, that is my gift to him. All right. So that's Thursday night. We're going to be continuing through our automation track. And then we have our morning shows, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:15 a.m. Eastern time, coffee and kata. So we have a cup of coffee. I just ordered a whole new box of K-cups, right? So we have a cup of coffee. We have our news topics. I'm trying to keep it to 2 to 3 news topics. And then we have our coding challenge. We are doing we're working on automating OpenAI, a Chaos Camp challenge by Dawn on Mondays and Wednesdays, and then on Fridays we choose a Code Wars challenge and we go through that. It's been pretty good the past two Code Wars challenges, so we're going to just keep going with what they suggest and keep getting better at our code. Uh, I know that my code looks a little bit different, but maybe it's because of my mindset as a Q engineer. I like to list things out and be very like apparent, and I don't go for like the short cute one line code. I have multiple lines because I like it to be easily readable. So maybe that's my style. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But right. So that is our live show. I'm running through it really quick. Right. One more time. It's Sunday afternoons, software explorations. We're going through Terraform. Tuesday nights tonight we're doing Q&A, and then Thursday nights we have more software explorations, and Monday mornings. Or not Monday mornings, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday mornings at 7:15 a.m. We have coffee and kata news and coding challenges. All right. So give it up for our live show. And then we have our pre-recorded content, right? Mondays, Candid Conversations. Oh my God. Did anybody get to watch that Candid Conversation on this past Monday? Why is it so damn hard to get into tech? They told you it was going to be super easy. You just take a little boot camp here and a little course, the online course there, and then all of a sudden it's like magic, right? It's like, and then boom, you have a job in tech. But then you get into it and you pay all this money and you can't find anything, and you are super frustrated, and you just don't know what to do. What gives, right? It's like, do I just go back to what I was doing before? Well, watch that video and it'll tell you. Watch that Monday's Candid Conversation, and it's going to tell you exactly why it's so hard for you to get into tech right now, and give you some insight on what you could potentially do to help that transition a little bit more. There's no guarantees, but I think my insights from someone who's been in this industry for 20 years, been in QA for 15, right? That's been in the senior level since the past 12 years, who can give you a little bit of insight, because most of these people giving you these this information, right? They haven't done it, right? They haven't done it. So I would highly recommend that you check out that Monday's Candid Conversations about why is it so damn hard to get into tech, okay? And then we have Wednesdays, software explorations, concept and overviews. Tomorrow, we are going to be talking about test automation flakiness and which tool best handles flakiness between Selenium, Playwright, and Cypress. All right. And then Fridays, we have the bug bite, which is, I like the bug bite, right? Because we review some industry bugs. On this Friday, we're going to be talking about the GM cruise, which yes, I repeat, drug a passenger who was it was not a passenger, it was a pedestrian who was a victim of a hit and run and got knocked in front of the GM Cruise robo taxi and then got drugged a little bit. So we're gonna investigate that to see what happened there and get a better understanding, right? And then throughout the week we have additional content such as shorts, and we have a clip from the Q&A show so that you can get it in some bite-sized digestible pieces. So look out for that. Let me just run through that one more time really quick, all right? Mondays, Candid Conversations. Wednesdays, software explorations, concept and overviews. Fridays, the bug bite, all right? And then we have shorts and clips from the Q&A show. And, I'll be releasing some additional content as well. So just be ready. Check it out, all right? So that is our live show and our pre-recorded show content. All right. So the next part we're getting into is, I just mentioned that on the morning shows, we are going through Chaos Camp challenges. So I would highly recommend that you go check out the Chaos Camp GitHub and see these real world software development and QA situations that Don has come up with, and try one for yourself so you can level up your technical skills, your QA skills, your software development skills. Do a challenge, right? And see what it entails. And it's pretty challenging. Like it takes us some time to complete them, but we like to be very, very thorough as QA engineers, okay? And as well, go sign up to Socks's channel. It's at Free Range Stocks to get some amazing cybersecurity insight. It and we had our stream last week. We were saying that we need beta testers for Sox University, where you'll get the first 30 days on the house for helping us beta test, right? So we've gotten a few people reach out to us who are interested in the beta testing. If you are interested, we still have some slots available. So all you have to do is email Sox at ephemeralnetworks.com. The email address is in the chat, and just put that you're interested in being a beta tester in the subject line and reference your YouTube name in the body, and we'll get you set up in probably less than a week now, because we said 2 weeks, so probably less than a week we'll get you set up. We're just doing some cleanup right now. So that is the plan, okay? So the next, before I go to the next topic, right? Let me address the chat real quick. So Mitch says meeting at 9:30. Tech Coach Ralph working. Hey, and the way that I do it, right? I use a calendar. I use like a Google Calendar thing, right? Where I put all my availability, and people just drop meetings on my calendar, and that's how I schedule my coaching calls. So I have the calendar going from like depending on which calendar the person is using, it can go as early as 5 a.m. all the way to like midnight, because I have people in Europe, in the UK, as well as in France. I have people on the West Coast. So I'm people in the Midwest, so I just make the time available for everyone. I'm up early every day. All right, maybe not every day, but mostly every day. All right. So that's why, it can be 9:30, it could be 10:30. It doesn't matter, So let's see. All right. So, and let me see what else. So, hey, look at who's here. What's up, Sean? How are you doing? How are you doing, Sean? Happy to hear from you. Like, I'm curious, how is your the QA role that you were working on? How is that going? I am curious to hear. Let me know in the chat. All right. And we have my friend Sharon. Sharon says, "Hi, Coach." Hi to you too. How are you doing tonight? And it says, "Did that beta course go live yet? Because I never received an email." No, we are going live with that. We should be sending the login information in the coming week. Just so we just had to, what I was working on is helping Sox clean up the instructions on how you're going to, once you log in, how you're going to set up your VPN and everything like that. So we're just trying to be very clear, very thorough. And, because I don't want you guys to receive something and it's super unclear and it's frustrating just to get in. So I'm just, I'm applying my user perspective and my QA background to make sure that it's going to be easy for you guys to get it. So you should be getting that within the next week, probably closer towards the end of the next week, just so we can clean some stuff up. So just look out for that. But Sox has been receiving your emails. He showed me a screenshot of everyone who's emailed him, who's interested. So and I'll make sure that you are counted in, so you don't have to worry about that whatsoever. Okay. So with that being said, where are we now? Okay. So, and it says, "I'm doing good. Hope you're good." Oh, I am doing amazing. Absolutely amazing. And whenever I have you guys hanging out with me on the lives, it makes me that much more better. So I appreciate you being here. All right. And Sean says, "Unfortunately, it's not what I expected. Project have been slow. Not hearing much from manager, and contract is almost over. I have only really done manual testing." All right. So Sean, send me an email, right? I'm curious to hear a little bit more. Send me an email at Ralph. It's Ralph at techcoachingwithralph.com. I'm curious to hear about that. And maybe I can send you an email, give you some insight on how you can make it a little bit more worthwhile, because I hear that a lot about, like, it's not what I thought it was going to be. I thought I was going to do some automation, but it's mainly manual testing. Or, I think you're in the Discord, so send me a message. Just send me a message, because I can probably give you some strategy before the contract runs up on how you can make it a little bit more worthwhile. So definitely send me an email, okay? All right. Yeah, and you know what? I'll do that. I'll do that tonight too. But definitely still send me a message, send me an email. But I can give some advice on that type of situation as well. But I'll do that. Just remind me once we get into the Q&A part, and I'll do that, right? But yeah, that's a good point. This is the Q&A show, so that's a good time to do it. So remind me once we get to the questions part. I'll answer that. I'll address that first, and then we will go from there. Okay. All right. Let's see. Okay, so that is awesome. All right, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about, right? Which I'm going to make a full video on it, but real quick, as it says in the title, right? Startups, right? What exactly is a startup? Because I see the term now being thrown around so loosely in the tech community, like, oh, I have a startup, I have a startup, I have a startup. Is it that you put something together and that now some people might register for it or something like that? Or are you like, that's what I'm wondering, like, what makes it a startup, right? Because anybody can register an LLC and make a website and say, okay, now I have a startup, right? But how do you keep it if you're in like software engineering, right? And you have a cool idea, right? But you are in the mentality of, I just want to go fast, right? Maybe you're like Ricky Bobby, right? From Talladega Nights. I want to go fast. I want to go fast, right? But what are your software development principles? Right? That's why I think one of the required readings for software engineers should be, and QA engineers as well, right? Should be Robert C. Martin's Clean Code and Clean Coder. Because I have some conversations with software developers and software engineers who have a startup, and I'll say, well, do you have unit tests? No, because we just wanted to get to market and go fast. I'm like, okay. Do you have any type of automation testing? No. We're just focused on building the code. We're just totally focused on. And I'm like, do you have any testers? No. We just need developers. We just need developers. And I'm like, okay, that's a recipe for disaster, right? So, and that's why in the next kind of conversation that I'm going to do, I'm going to talk about why so many startups, right? And I mean, small businesses in general, like like they say, it's a very low percentage of small businesses that actually like stay open more than 5 years, probably more than 1 year, right? But it's like our focus is to like, oh, we just want to go fast, and then we go fast in the wrong direction, and now it becomes a total mess, right? So that's why I wonder, like, what exactly do you consider a startup to be? I think if you call it a startup but you don't do it the right way, you're going to be very, very disappointed very, very soon, right? It might not be within the first 3 months, the first 6 months, might not be in the first year. But as soon as you're ready to start changing some code and you're in production, and because you don't have any unit testing in place, any testers, any automation to test functionality, and you make that change and you deploy and your site goes down, and you have, let's say you have a good user base, right? And your application goes down. I won't. You think about it. You figure out how that's going to go for you and your quote unquote startup. All right. I mean, testing is like without testing, your code is worthless, right? Your startup, it's so frail and so fragile by not being properly prepared, by not protecting yourself. Testing is what protects you and your company and your quote unquote your startup and your integrity, right? But you know, these new developers and engineers, they get a job and they do, for maybe 2 to 3 years, and they're like, oh, I have an idea. And then they totally ignore the principles of software engineering because they want to go fast. I should name this stream I want to go fast. Right? If you're speeding and you get pulled over, you get that traffic ticket and you get points on your license, or you might have to go to, if you're going fast enough, they might arrest you. All right? So, think about that. That is my message to you. All right? So, with that being said, let's get into it. All right? So, before we get into our Q&A portion, one more time, if you are new to the channel, or maybe you're not new, but you haven't subscribed yet, I don't know what you're waiting for, but go ahead and click the subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. Like the video, share the video, all of that. And check out the Patreon if you need to level up your technical skills. You need one-on-one coaching. Check out www.techcoachralph.dev. Or if you want to connect with me in other ways, you can go to connect.techcoachralph.dev as well. And you will have a multitude of options to connect with me, okay? So, with that being said, we are ready to get into our Q&A portion of the show. But before we can do that, we need this, all right?
Please offer me your energy. I ask of you, please.
All right. So. The show format, we are going to do 5 minutes on the clock per question. Let me pull up my timer right now. And, the link is in the chat if you want to call in to the show and ask me a question. We can do that as well. You do not have to be on camera. So let's get to it. Oh, wait. Before we go any, I was right about to get started, but we have my friend Operation Tech Takeover says, hey, bro, I just jumped in to help the algorithm. About to go into a study session. I will watch the replay. I appreciate you, Operation Tech Takeover. You are so supportive.
I appreciate you.
You are so supportive always. And I wish you the best study session of all time. All right. So we'll chat later. Tech Takeover. Thank you for being here. All right. So we are going to continue with the show. So yeah, 5 minutes per question. All right. And I'll start off with Sean's question as I promised. So the question was, so I'll put it up. Actually, I'll put this one up. So, and let's start
another one.
So Sean had said, unfortunately, it is not what I expected. He's talking about the QA position that he was in. And can you remind me, was that a contract position? Was that an internship? And what was the name of the position? But I can still start answering the question, but remind me some details about it. I don't remember if it was just an internship or if that was actual QA testing role. So remind me, and then but I can still start answering. All right. So it says, unfortunately, it is not what I expected. Projects have been slow. Not hearing much from the manager, and my contract is almost over. I have only really done manual testing. It says it's more like an internship. Okay, cool. So no problem. All right. Let's put the timer up, and we're off. All right. So what I'm gonna say is that even whether it's a contract role or an internship, right? It doesn't matter. A lot of times, right? we sit and we wait to hear something. We're just waiting. Like, and that's one of my biggest pet peeves of people in QA is that they're not as proactive as they should be, right? They like we like to sit around and wait for a long time for like the developers to tell us what to do, for things to be done, whatever the case may be, right? But we're not as proactive as we should be. And no fault, like I'm not making any fault on you, Sean, because like if you are new to the field and this is like more like an internship slash contract, so I can understand why like you can't just like do what you think. But the thing is, in that position, right, you have the opportunity to take some initiative, right? And so you say you've really only been doing manual testing. However, right? However, you have a laptop or a desktop, whatever device you're working on, right? And you can install whichever automation tool of your choice, because since you're not, or I would say if they have automation there, install the same tools that they have, right? You can probably pull in the repo. And if you can't pull in the repo, just use that as an opportunity to write automation code for yourself for the work of the company that you're working for, right? So you do your manual test, and during the times that are slow, right? During like projects have been slow, well, if you had a project that you're working on, you could actually automate that project while things are slow, right? And that's what I call being proactive and going after what you want, right? If you want to be a QA engineer, then QA engineer, right? Like in my perspective, engineers find a problem and then they find a solution for that problem. They're not waiting for people to just come and say, "Oh, I have a problem. Can you solve it for me?" No, you have to like, and especially if you have downtime. Like, imagine having downtime at a company, right? Whether it's an internship or a contract position or whatever, right? But you have downtime, so you have so much. It's like from the movie Step Brothers, right? Where they're like, there's so much room for activities. You have so much room to learn and to apply. Like, it's a prime position. I don't know how much time is left on the contract, but you should be automating like during all that downtime. You should be automating anything that you can, right? You should be exploring new you should be going, and if they have automation testers there, you should be talking to them every day. Like, oh, how do you guys do this? And how do you do that? And that shows that you are interested in the company. You're interested in like QA, and you're interested in automation, right? And then like you're actually networking with those people because you're already in the company and you're finding out how they do things. You're like, if you can, you import the Git repo and you run those tests if they have a CI/CD and you have access to log in. You do that, right? But you insert yourself. You go looking for stuff to do. You don't just wait. Like in some positions, like you have things that are constantly coming to you, right? In other positions, like especially in internships, you might not have much to do, so you have to go and seek it out, right? If this is what you want, you have to go out there and take it. You just can't wait for them to give it to you, because the same way it's the same way no one came to you to give you this contract role or internship. You had to go and seek it out. You had to apply for it. In the same vein, right? You need to go and get what you want, right? If you saw the video from last week's kind of conversation about your life is a business, business owners have to market themselves. What am I doing when I'm talking about the things that we do in the Patreon? When I'm talking about like when I'm going to different sites, I'm marketing my services, my skills, right? And that's what you have to do as someone who and you're such a good opportunity because you are in the role, right? It might not be for a very long time, but guess what? If you had shown like so much interest, like I'm not sure how long you were there for, but or how long you've been there, but if you had showed the interest of oh yeah, I like how do I do this and how do I do that? Oh, and in your downtime when the manager's not saying much, you're just doing a bunch of stuff. So now you schedule a meeting with the manager, right? And he says, Mr. or Mrs. Manager, look at I wrote this. Can you tell me what you think about it? Oh, is there a better way that you can do it? You initiate the conversation. If they're not talking to you, you initiate the conversation and you make it happen. right? They're like, the only reason it's not what you expected is because you didn't make it what you expected, right? You could have you could definitely, and you're still there. Time's not up, right? You can start doing what I'm mentioning, but the ball is in your court to make it happen. Before I wrap this question up, right? I'm gonna tell you this. Whether it's an internship, whether you're working full time for a company, whether you're working on a contract, right? The company does not owe you anything, especially if you're an intern, to be honest with you, right? Especially if you're an intern. They don't owe you anything, right? They're actually doing you, like, as an intern or a contract, like as an intern, right? They're kind of doing you a favor to like get some experience and stuff like that. But you have to, like in any position that you are, you have to show initiative. And if the manager or whoever isn't like that interactive, then you be interactive and you seek them out and you put a meeting on their calendar and says, "Oh, I just want to talk about this," or "I just want to talk about that." And like, if as long as it's like valid stuff, they'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Right? So that is what I would say, right? That's let me know what you think in the chat, right? Let me know what you think, Sean. But that is what my advice would be to dealing with something like this, right? And I don't blame you, because like it's not something that you would think of, especially being new in the field. But with that strategy, like, and I'll tell you this, right? And before we wrap it up, right? I'll tell you this. Every day, I'm looking for new opportunities at work, right? So, some of the initiatives that we're working on, I'll go from writing automated tests, right, to running scripts that somebody else wrote to handle a bunch of to make a bunch of API calls to handle some stuff, right? Today, I'll give you another example, right? A task that we need to do in S3, and I'm in AWS S3, right? I was like, when the developer was talking about it being a tedious task, I said, I wonder if we can just use a CLI for that, right? So then I went and I wrote the CLI script, and we were able to reduce the time like that it would take to do something, like, to minutes, right? After I got the script, I spent some time, like maybe a few hours writing the script, and now we can use it for everything. And then now today I started expanding on it to migrate it to Python to just make it a whole script that we can pass parameters to. And that's not QA related, right? But I go out and seek the things that I want to do and I want to contribute. The main goal is to add value. I always ask myself, how can I add more value, right? I don't care about my title, right? Because here's what's happened in my career, right? I just do the work, and then the title follows, right? I just focus on what needs to be done, and then the titles continue to follow. The pay increases continue to follow. So I don't focus on those things. I don't fixate on those things. Like, I don't do videos about, oh, I was making this much, and then 6 months later I'm making that much. I think about the technical stuff, the work that I need to do, the strategies, and that's what I share with you guys, right? I'm not talking about going from this much to this much in 6 months. I don't care about that, right? So that's what I would say, right? Seek out the opportunities, make the most of it. The ball is in your court. The ball is always in your court. All right. So that is my answer to that. And since this is Sean's question, let me see. Let me read the chat real quick. It says, oh, "Yeah, that's true. I've been trying to ask for more and any other projects I could help out, and they said it will. And they said they will. But radio silence. You have to seek it out. Whatever project that you've been working on, add to it. That's what you have to do. And then you show them, and you show your manager, like, oh, look what I did. You know, it was like, you probably don't know the show Mad TV, but still, we're like, look what I can do, right? So show them what you can do, all right? And maybe I need to hound them. You don't hound them until you don't hound them. You show them what you can do, right? You do something and say, hey, I want your feedback on this. Ask for feedback. Say, hey, I wrote this automation script. Can you give me some feedback on it? And then they say, oh yeah, this and this is that, right? So that is the strategy, right? or keep asking. You don't keep asking. Like I said, do something and say, hey, I want some feedback. And then let's say, oh, you could actually do it like this. And then they're going to give you something to do. And then you're going to have to go change it. And then you ask for more feedback and you just build that loop, right? You build that loop. So that's the strategy. Okay. And it says, I've been thinking of automating my test cases, why are you thinking about it? Why are you thinking about it? Why is it not done already, Sean? Why is it not done already? You see what I mean? You shouldn't have to think about automating your test cases, which you manually tested. You should like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, does this need to be automated? If so, how can I automate it? Whatever the thing might be, right? And that's what that comes to with that S3 example I was giving, right? Or with the AWS thing, I'm like, the developer says, yeah, it's kind of tedious. We have to do this over and over and over. And if I didn't like find a way to create that script, right, it would have been a nightmare of how many times we had to do this manual process. We would have spent hours upon hours. Now the way that I'm building it, we just put in some parameters and it's going to do everything for us, right? And it's going to be, oh my God, I'm like so excited to work on this thing. But you see the excitement that I have talking about it? That is the idea. All right. That's the idea. Okay. And someone says, I need to adapt that seeking mentality, looking for opportunities even in the workplace. I think I had that while I was job hunting, but exactly. There you go, Sean. And with that being said, a not so shameless plug, that is the purpose of Candid Conversations on Mondays. That is the purpose. Like, if you guys didn't watch any video that I did, which you should, I would want you to watch, if you have to choose one, I would want you to watch Candid Conversations, because that is that mentality you're talking about of like, I have to go out there and get it. I have to go, David Goggins calls it a true dog mentality, right? You have to go out there and take what you want, right? And in the workplace, you have competitors there too, because you want to do automation. Someone else wants to do automation, whatever the case may be. So you have to go out there and get it and say, this is mine. And you show them that it's yours. You know? So hopefully that helps, Sean. Hopefully that helps. All right. And let's wrap that one up. That was such a great question. I love that question. You know, Sean, you asked the most amazing questions. All right. So before I wrap it up, I'm gonna throw you one of these. So awesome. And I'm also proud of you as well, Sean. I'm proud of you for like, because a lot of people would love to be in your position, but you got there. So keep it up and let's make the most of it. Please. Like, I haven't spoken to you for a while. Like, imagine if we had spoken like maybe 2 weeks after you got it, or whenever you started feeling like this. We could have turned it around like that, and then you would have been blowing minds away. All right. So don't stay away. Come and check in with me. All right. Come and check in with me. Let me know how it's going, and then we can have these conversations. This is the purpose of the Q&A night. All right. So now we're gonna wrap this question up. Awesome. And you are very, very welcome. Of course, Sean. Of course, anytime. All right. And we have my newest friend in the chat. Colin said, talking about the work, why I listen in. Man, Colin, you know what?
I appreciate you.
I really do appreciate you, Colin. That means a lot. Like, I don't know. That's just me though, right? I've always been focused on the work, and I'm like, I like figuring out problems, right? I like challenges. I like figuring out problems. I like to do the hard things, right? I hate doing the hard things, but I love to do the hard things. It's crazy, right? So I really appreciate that. All right, Colin. So thank you so much. And thank you for being here, one of my newest subscribers. So I love it. Love it. You know, I love the mentality, that true dog mentality. All right. So let's get to our next question of the night. Where are we? Okay, here we are. And speaking about it, let's go to our next question.
Another one.
And this one asks, speaking about money, how much of a raise can I expect after 1 year in QA?
Money.
All right. So started working as a manual QA tester 6 months ago, making 57,000 Canadian dollars, not USD, but Canadian dollars. It is a relatively small IT team for a pretty big company. The work is completely remote. I'm one of 2 people in this role. We never discussed what a raise would look like when I got hired, but I'm just curious how it's been for those of you with a similar starting point. How much were your raises? How much are you making now? For reference, I have a bachelor's of science in an unrelated field, like so many people who end up in tech and QA nowadays, in an unrelated field, but took some extra courses a little while ago in computer science to widen my job search. To be honest, I feel like I got a little lucky with this job, but I just wanted to compare. All right, so that is an amazing question. Let me start the clock for good guy. All right, so how much of a raise should you expect after 1 year? Well, it depends on the company's policy, right? It all depends on the company's policy because typically what companies will generally offer are 1 to 5% raises, and they go by, so typically a 3 is the most standard, right? 3 is meets expectations, 4 is exceeds expectations, and 5 is like exceptional, right? And then a 2 is a needs improvement, and a 1 is and 1 is like doesn't meet expectation. I might have it backwards, right? But that's pretty much what it is. And it's just like a percentage, right? So let's say you just meet the expectation, right? So now I have to pull out my calculator, right? So 57,000 times, let's say you meet expectations, it's times 0.03. So you should get about a $1,710 raise, right? And not all companies give raises, but that's typically how it goes. It's also adjusted for inflation and stuff like that, for the cost of living, whatever, right? But it's only 1,710, and that is why, right? I never cared about the yearly raise like that because it's just honestly. So let's say it's 1,710, right? And then you get paid every other week, right? So we're going to divide that pre-tax income by 26, and that gives you a measly $65 per month before tax. Not to include like when you go make a purchase and you have that extra VAT tax in Canada. Yeah. So that is why, like I said, I never really focused on the yearly quote unquote merit increase, right? What I always focused on is being the best, being the hardest worker. And that is like from when I got started, right? In my career in QA, I would get like these big jumps that were like, don't tell anybody, right? But they were outside of the norms because of the way that I worked and the value that I sought to bring to my employer, right? And that's what, and that goes to what I was talking to Sean about just a little bit earlier is what's the value that you're bringing? What are the initiatives? Like, what are the problems that you're trying to solve, right? Typically in meetings, like when you're getting interviewed and stuff like that, they don't really talk about what the raises look like and stuff. They might talk about the benefits and stuff like that, but they don't really talk about what the pay increase and stuff like that. What you could ask is, okay, what is the career trajectory, which is not about raise, but it's about promotions and like what the organizational chart, like what are your opportunities? That is different. And with those, and that's why with promotions, you normally get a bigger pay increase and stuff like that. But looking for the yearly merit increase and stuff like that, you know, at 57K, you're looking at 1,710, right? So if you're making 100K, right? Let's say with 100K, you'd be getting like $3,000. So if we divide $3,000 between 26, and that's the extra $115 a month, right? So, I mean, and here's the thing, right? You might get an exceed expectations once or twice, but if you keep getting exceed expectations or exceptional or excellent, then you probably are in the wrong role, and they're probably going to be looking forward to promote you anyways, right? Because companies don't really want people who continuously exceeds expectations, right? Because that means that you are kind of overqualified. So they're going to look to put you in a role where you can still exceed expectations sometimes, but that you can meet the expectations of the role that you're in, right? So and then that's how the raises happen. The other thing is a lot of times the real raise comes after you've gained enough experience, and then you go look outside of your company. If your company isn't like promoting you and stuff like that, and you can get a better opportunity somewhere else, then there goes a raise there as well. Because in that case, you can get like a 10 to 15 to 20 to $25,000 raise by leaving to go to another company or another position, because you have some experience under your belt. All right. So hopefully that helped. Hopefully that answered the question. Hopefully that gave some valuable insight on the pay structure and the merit increases that happen in the tech industry. Not sure if many people are familiar with that, but that is the part of like working in software development. It's different for some other roles, like maybe some tech sales and stuff like that, because they can get commission and stuff like that. But in software development, that is most likely the way that usually the way that it happens. So hopefully that was able to provide you some great insight. All right. All right. So let's jump into our next. Well, before we jump into our next question, right? I hope that you are enjoying the show. Hopefully that you are entertained, as well as being given some valuable insight into the way that the software industry works, and hopefully that question from Sean was helpful to you as well. All right. So if so, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every single time that we go live. Like the video, share the video. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. Or if you want to connect with me in other ways, check out connect.techcoachralph.dev, and you can have access to all of my links there. Okay. So I'll be looking forward to hearing from you. Okay. Let's jump into our next question. Okay. Let's do it.
Another one.
And this intriguing question, it says, should I change careers for a $20,000 decrease? Did you say $20,000? Yes, I said $20,000 decrease. Whew, okay, so I'm a 32-year-old female, only income. I live and own my own home. Well, if you live and own your own home, I must at least commend you for that. So it continues. I was let go from my job suddenly in December, and I am currently on unemployment. Oh, that sucks. I received a job offer for a new job and a total career shift. I was a paralegal making $62,500 a year, and this job will be about $45,000 before taxes. Woo, Jesus Christ. This job aligns so much better with my personality, and there is room for growth within the company. I did the math, and I could pay all of my bills and still have a little left over. But is it worth it to start all over? I really think it is, even if I have a stricter budget the next couple of years. But my mom, a boomer, is 100% against it. I just need some outsider. I just need some outsider with no stake to help me. Any advice on or stories of something similar? So here we go, right? I absolutely am not a boomer, right? I mean, come on, look at me. I'm not a boomer. I am a millennial. And I agree 100% with your mother. If your personality is more in line with making $20,000 less than you were before, going like in reverse, right? Then, my friend, you need a new personality, right? You need a personality that's going to give you a position that is going to be able to sustain you and not have you living off of ramen noodles like you were in college 10 years ago. You see, and sorry, good guy. I apologize. But one of the things that really messes us up, right, is that we want the things that are productive and lucrative to conform to our lives and to our personalities, right? Me, I conform my life and my personality to the things that are going to help me win, right? Like like my motto says, engineered to win. That is the key focus, right? I don't like taking losses, right? And to regress, right, to something that meets my personality, but the thing that meets my personality is $20,000 less, and then room to grow, right? What does that mean? What are the opportunities that are going to be available to you to, and honestly, like $62,000 a year, it's not that great either, right? I would be looking to go up, you know? Now you're going to have to be on a really tight budget. And do you not see that inflation is continuing to rise? Right? We have like in the morning show yesterday, we're reviewing some statistics that are coming out on Thursday, and they were saying like, oh, like we're how we calculate like inflation or something, but it doesn't include food and energy, the two most expensive things right now. They're not counting that, which doesn't make any sense, right? So my thing is like I would only change careers to something that's gonna go upwards. Even if like so if changing this career, you might have to go down a little bit just to come back up a lot further than you were. Cool. But and here's the thing. I wouldn't like if I wanted to change careers, right? I would find something that is currently in line where I can have either a parallel trajectory, like or upward trajectory, right? So for instance, if I wanted to get into DevOps, right? Or infrastructure as code or the identity access management or something like that, right? I would not leave my current position to go and do that, right? I would try to transition from what I'm doing now to there, even if it's a parallel shift, because then I can go up some more. But and that's what I like. That's what I'd be like. Okay, let me keep making my 62, and then looking for opportunities where I can go and make 72, 82, 100, 150. Right? The goal is up. Sometimes you have to go down a little bit to come back up, but you have to make the right and the wise decisions with your life. I hope that makes sense. You know, boomer, like it does, like whether she's your mother's a boomer or whatever. I have no vested interest in you. I don't even know you, but like I said, I would adjust my personality. Like I remember I saw a comment one time, right, where somebody said it was on a Discord. They said, "Oh, I started doing a boot camp, and I was almost done, but I quit because I thought it would be boring." And I'm like, "Well, you can fit your personality to the job that you're doing. Everything that you see behind me and the lights and the stuff like that, that's my personality that I'm putting into the work that I do." Right? If I just had to sit here, like I'm at an office and I'm just typing all day, typing away, and I'm just like a robot, then I'd be bored too, right? But I add the excitement, I add the flair to the work that I'm doing. You know, So it kind of like it's like everything is going back to what I was talking to Sean about earlier, right? Taking that initiative, making it yours, right? Make it fun, make it a game, make it a challenge. Like make it like when you see the background that I put on with like the war theme, and it's like I'm going to war with myself to be better every single day. When I wake up early in the morning to do a coffee and kata show to get some code done before I actually get to work so I can stimulate my mind, right? So I can stimulate my mind in the work that I'm doing, right? That is how I get into the zone. That's how I get into the game. That's how I go to war with myself. I'm competing against myself. And that's how I make the work fun for me. When I go to jiu-jitsu, right? I don't like I'm doing sparring with a bunch of people and everything like that, but they're not my concern. My concern is me. Can I keep going? Can I have the right technique? Can I not gas out? Can I be calm under pressure? You know, that is how I challenge myself. And that is a strategy that you have to employ so that you don't go like, oh, it doesn't fit my personality. I want to go backwards. I want to drop 20K when I'm qualified to make 65. I want to go to 45K. No, I adapt my personality to where I'm going to get the money. Right? Like I say, I focus on the work, but I still want my money. I still want my money. If anybody ever saw the movie How High, I need money, right? So I still want my money, but it's not my focus because I know it's gonna come. But I'm not gonna like, oh, I'm just gonna like, it doesn't fit my personality. I'm just gonna go and go backwards for 20K because of my personality. No, fix your personality. That's the thing. Fix your personality. All right. So and I know some people might disagree with me on that, but I'm gonna say it again. Fix your personality. All right, let's move on. All right, let's get to our next question on the docket for tonight. Let's do it.
Another one.
Planning on making a career change from customer support to QA. So I'm planning and hoping to make a career change right now. Currently, I'm working at a CMS software company doing customer support for over 3 years. I love the company because there's always positive reinforcement from my team and manager to try and join other departments, which is why I'm writing this question. Currently, I like what I do, but I really don't like dealing with clients face to face. I mean, doesn't that kind of contradict with what you're saying? Anyways, I've always been interested in QA and how sprints and releases are managed. I've spoken to some QA automation developers at my company, and they've told me that some of them did not have any experience when they joined the QA team, must have been in 2020, but rather learned it on the way. They suggested that I try to self-teach myself some code like JavaScript, CSS, C++, why the hell would you learn that? Maybe even C#, and HTML. I've been going to w3schools.com and Google searching the important principles of QA to become more familiar and use them as topics of conversation once I do an interview with the manager of the QA team. I'm just reaching out to see if there's anything else or additional resources that you could provide me to prepare myself if the opportunity arises. Okay, so it's a good question. Let's throw up our 5 minutes up. All right. So here's the deal, right? You are in a very, very amazing position because you've been working for the company. So they know you, right? So they're going to be more graceful with you as well. And that's good because like trying to go outside of the company to like a new company for QA, that is hard, right? It is like you see, like if you don't have any experience, you're trying to like, and you took some type of boot camp and you're trying to transition, it is hard. Like, how hard is it? It is 3,670 applications hard, right? So you're in a good spot, okay? And also being that you do customer support, that means you know a lot about the product that your company sells, right? So now, and I would suppose as well, like you're pretty familiar with how the product works, because you have to navigate it, help customers and stuff like that, right? So you're in a good spot. And the fact that you are reaching out to the QA automation engineers or the developers, that is absolutely amazing as well. And that you're interested in QA. So what I would say though is, one thing I always wonder, like when people say self-taught or self-teach, what does that mean? Does that mean like you just Google a bunch of stuff and you try to piece it all together? You take some type of online course, whether it's a Coursera or Udemy or something like that, right? That's so. You said you've been going to W3 schools. I've been to W3 schools, but I'm not too familiar with like what exactly they're putting out over there. But I would say that in your position, like wanting to get into QA, right, and you have an interview with a QA manager, I would highly recommend that you do not go the route of the current QA automation engineers, right, and just like have absolutely no experience and then join the team. But I would say find an online course that comprehensively teaches you about QA. So when you're talking to the manager of the QA team, you can talk about unit testing, you can talk about smoke testing, you can talk about functional testing, you can talk about integration testing, you can talk about load testing, stress testing, performance testing. You can talk about all those type of things. You can talk about what it was called, black box, white box, gray box testing. Talk about all of those different things, right? Then you can talk about automation as well and say, okay, I'm interested in learning Selenium or Cypress or Playwright, whatever the case may be, right? Join us tomorrow. Join us on Thursday as we continue to go through the free mind recovery automation project. All right. So have things to talk about. And here's the important thing as well, right? See how you applied the principles of QA in your current role, how you helped customers troubleshoot and stuff like that, right? Those are the things that you want to focus on. I would say like, definitely take some type of QA course, whether you're doing Udemy or Coursera, right? Because you need to get the foundations out of the way. A lot of people, they don't like they don't necessarily have the foundations. They have some theory, but they're self-taught by like watching YouTube videos. And I would definitely say, if you think watching me is enough for you to be able to do something, whether you're like, even if you're like following along with Terraform, you are absolutely mistaken. I am just like giving you some insights so you can see how I work, how I learn, my thoughts, right? But you need some structured education, right? Am I telling you to go out there and spend $20,000 for a boot camp? What? $20,000? Absolutely not. Because after they do what they do to you, all they're going to say is,
"Thank you for your patronage."
No. But I am saying that you need to take like the cheapest way possible to get some basic information, right? And then, especially in the position that you're in, right? And then you need to actually start testing stuff and trying to, put into practice what you're learning. So being that you're in the company, you can say, hey, like you talk to the QA people, hey, I'm learning this and that and that. I wanted to know, how can I apply that? Is there something that you can give me to test, right? Even while you're in your customer support role, even while you are in customer support role. Does that make sense? I'm going to say it one more time. Even while you are in your customer support role, you need to ask if you can pair with them, if you can shadow them, if you can get some QA task assigned to you, so that you can show that you are interested and that you're looking to add value. See, why am I sharing this type of information? Because this is definitely Patreon level information on how to secure the job that you want. Patreon level information, www.techcoachralph.dev. If you want more information like that, right? Can't give you everything, but that is what I'll do. Take a basic a comprehensive QA course. Show how you've used QA to help your customers. Talk to the devs to say, hey, I want to learn more about testing. Is there any like task or stories that I can contribute to in the testing, even while you're in your customer support position? All right. So that is all that I'm going to give you for that one. You got it out of me, right? Good job on that question. Okay. So with that being said, let's wrap that one up. All right. So we are cruising along. It is 8:40 p.m. So let's keep going. Like I said, I got to cut it off at 9:15 for my 9:30 coaching call. All right. So let's go to the next question. But before we go to the next question, like the video, share the video. It helps in the algorithm so more people can come and get this amazing information. I appreciate you all for being here. As always, you guys are the best, okay? So go ahead and click the like button, share the video with everyone. subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you can know when we go live. The link to the Patreon where you can get some exclusive content as well as one-on-one coaching is pinned to the top of the chat. All right, www.techcoachralph.dev. I look forward to seeing you there. Okay, let's go to our next question. Okay, let's do it.
Another one.
So this one says, which automation tools and languages should I be learning? Software tester here from the UK. Well, hello there. In my current role, I'm mainly doing manual testing, i.e. Sean. However, I've been doing some automation on the side using Selenium with Python. I want to transition into an automation role, be it at my current workplace or a different company, as I find it much more enjoyable than what I am currently doing. Okay? Which UI automation tools and languages should I be learning other than Selenium and Python in order to get a job as an automation tester? So the language, they share the languages that they currently know, Python, and they're learning JavaScript. Automation tools I currently know, Selenium, Winium, Desktop Driver. Okay? So that is an amazing question. Let's get the clock started. Okay, so languages, it depends, right? It depends on what you're working on, right? Although I primarily use Python today, and I actually enjoy using Python, my number one is still going to be Selenium and Java, right? That's always going to be not my number one. Java is it's probably one of the more complex languages, but because I knew Java and had a good understanding of Java, it allowed me to pick up on Python and other object-oriented languages pretty quickly, right? Another one, and along with like Java and Python, would be JavaScript or TypeScript, right? As you see, I'm using TypeScript, for the Thursday night projects that we're doing, where we're automating free mind recovery, right? Thursday at 7:15 p.m. Right, we're going to be continuing with that, but that is what I'm using JavaScript and TypeScript, right? And with JavaScript, what it gives you is access to Cypress, which is a pretty good automation tool, right? But still not as popular as Selenium, of course, right? And then there's Playwright as well. So, and Playwright works in Python and Java and stuff like that. So here's the thing. I'm going to be quite honest with you, right? Because in one of the Discords I'm in, my good buddy, a duck under the porch, he asked me, so between Playwright, Selenium, and Cypress, right? I saw your live streams, and which one do you like the best? Well, what do you think I said? I told him I don't really care about any one of them, right? At this point, after being in QA for so long and doing so much automation, which now I mainly focus on. A lot of my automation is about APIs and video manifest files and stuff like that. I don't do much automation, like much UI automation. So I'm like, it doesn't the UI automation tools, they're so last year, right? They're so last year at this point, So that's why I don't have a preference, because being that you know how to do object-oriented programming, whether you're doing Java, Python, or JavaScript, or C# or whatever, or Ruby, whatever it is that you're doing, right? Being that you know how to code like that, you can adapt any automation tool. So the automation tool that I would suggest is the one that's going to best relate to the job or the application that you're using. If let's say, for instance, you're working on a Node and React application, right? I might go with Cypress. I might go with Playwright. I don't know, right? It just depends on what you're working on. So that's why, for me, like, it's hard to give a particular recommendation. Although I would still say, if you are new and you're learning, I would either Python. I like to say Java because that's the one that's, to me, that's always the most in demand, right? But that one also has the steepest learning curve. But if you get a good course and you don't try to self-learn it, then you'll have a guide to follow, right? And there's plenty of Udemy courses out there that you can follow. Like if you check out my Patreon, I'll have a link to some recommended courses, right? That I say, okay, these are some good courses on Udemy, right? As well as taking some agile methodology courses, taking some Git branching courses. Because if you want to if you want to do automation, you are an engineer, you are a developer, right? So you have to follow the same concept, the same precepts, learning how to use Git, learning how to work in a sprint. And that part right there is the essence of the candid conversation on Monday about why it's so damn hard to get a job in tech. Because, like I said, you're not prepared. You don't have all the necessary tooling or the skill set, right? So that is my perspective on this particular question. The languages, I would always recommend Java, JavaScript, Python. The tools, they're not as critical to me. I would say learn them all, right? I'll probably go with Selenium, Cypress, and Playwright, but they're all good. But you just have to go out there and put in the work and learn it, and then you go out there and crush it. All right. So that is that question. That was an amazing question. I always like questions like that. So let's wrap that one up. All right. So let's jump to our next question. It is already 8:48 p.m. Eastern time. So let's go here and let's do
Another one.
So this one says back-end testing framework for banking app or apps. All right. It says, I will start testing a banking app, and my main task would be to do some back-end automation on one or two back-end apps that will be integrated together. I don't have much information about the project. What Java testing frameworks, libraries would you recommend? I was thinking about Pack in case we need contract testing between the two backend services, Serenity, BDD, in case the client would be happy to see some real language in the reports, or just plain rest assured. And if front end tests will be needed, I will also add the Selenium library. Well, throw up for 5 minutes. It sounds like you have a pretty good plan, to be honest with you. I was thinking about rest assured. I'm not too familiar with Pack. Let me look up Pack real quick. See what that bad boy is. Packed Java. Let's see. Pack Java tutorial. It says, let's see what that is. Packed doc, right? Let's see. So contract testing. Packed is a code first tool for testing HTTP and message integration using contract tests. So unit provider contract. So I think, like, from what I'm quickly looking at over here, which I'll look more into it later on, but I say, like, that can be in your arsenal, but definitely rest assured. I used to, like, I built full frameworks using rest assured and Selenium so that they can be in the same framework that I built, and that so you can write a test, and like you can be writing a UI test that also makes API calls and stuff like that, right? So definitely, I would say use rest assured or something similar, and that way it'll facilitate. Because I'm not too familiar with the pack yet, right? But consumer unit test is behavior against provider mock. Provider test mock out and any other system, so it can be isolated. Contract is shared among the teams to enable collaboration. So these don't look like, the pack doesn't really look like end-to-end tests, but it would be a good for the contract test from what I'm looking at. But with the rest assured, you can do some end-to-end API testing at least. And then if you need to bring in Selenium, then you can use all of those together. But I think that's a pretty good idea that you have in mind to put these together. Of course, I would say using Java, test in G, either like I would actually say if you can, like because of the magnitude of the work that you're going to be doing, if you have the infrastructure to set up Report Portal, I would highly recommend you set up Report Portal. I have a video setting up Report Portal. I would highly recommend you check that out. But that would be super super helpful to like aggregate the testing results that you are running, and it's pretty simple to set up and to integrate into your project, right? But I think it's really important that you have the results going to somewhere. So that would be Report Portal, use TestNG, of course. Um, rest assured and everything like that. And I think you'd be in a pretty good shape. Like I think you have a pretty good idea, a pretty good plan. So I don't have anything different to really add to. I would say though, here are some additional options, right? Because you're going to have to feed in test data and different varieties of test data and stuff like that to make sure that things are good. So with TestNG, you can use a data provider, right? But with that data provider, you can either use Excel sheets and stuff like that, or if you're feeling really crazy, use the Google Docs API, use the Google Sheets API, so you can use your Google Sheet as a data provider in TestNG, and that way you can you can have a place where you can externally continuously update and manipulate the test data, add new test data, add existing test data, stuff like that, or change existing test data, and then you always have and then you feed that into your tests. So that way, your testing is totally externalized, right? And it's focusing more on the test data. It's like a data-driven testing as well. So that is a little bit of additional insight that I would add to this situation, right? Hopefully that helped, and we finished before the timer ran out for the very, very first time. Okay, so I'm gonna pause that. 5-minute back up, and we are going to, before we jump into our next question, we're almost done. If you are enjoying the stream, if you're finding it helpful and informative, do me a favor, click the like button, share the video on all your social networks so people can know that they can come and level up their technical skills with me here on the Tech Coach Ralph channel, and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time we go live. Check out the amazing content I have in my Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev, and you can sign up for free and just to connect with me and support. All right. And lastly, if you want additional ways to connect with me, you can check me out at connect.techcoachralph.dev. And if we finish our questions with enough time, then I'll tell you the story about how I created connect.techcoachralph.dev. And I'll even show it as well. I don't really like to share the screen on Tuesday nights, but I'll show you just so we can kill some time and we'll go from there. Okay. So with that being said, let's move on to our next question.
Another one.
ISTQB dash. There's more letters here. CTFL certification. Let's read that one more time. ISTQB dash CTFL certification. Every week we have to get an ISTQB question in there to stay consistent. Okay, it says, I've been working as a software tester, manual, and have background in automation. How do you have background in automation? For 5 whole years now. I've been eyeing to get certified in ISTQB, but don't have the guts to take it. The training and test itself is expensive. My question is it relevant to get certified to land a job? How difficult is it to take the test? I can't afford to fail. I don't want to waste a penny. Well, you certainly will be wasting a pretty penny. So let's start our clock, right? And I'll say this. First and foremost, I think the ISTQB is relevant to people who are in government contracting roles or working for the government or something like that, right? Like a lot of like those contracting roles in regulated industries, they'll appreciate the ISTQB certification. But if you're not working in one of those industries or you're not looking to, then who cares? And a lot of times as well, a company that needs ISTQB, they're not going to be looking for somebody with who has ISTQB. They're going to find like somebody who is internal to the company who already knows all this stuff, and they just need the paperwork to get certifications. They go, okay, we're gonna pay for you to get certified, to know what's going on and everything like that. And then they study for it, they pass it, whatever. They're good test takers. Who gives a crap, right? Do you need ISTQB in order to land a job? Absolutely not. I would say 99% of QA engineers, QA testers, manual testers, automation testers, whatever, right? They don't have their ISTQB, right? If it was so mandatory, then you would think there was like every single job application, we need ISTQB, we need ISTQB, we need ISTQB. When I look for jobs on LinkedIn or Glassdoor, I never see ISTQB. And I repeat, I never see ISTQB. See, this is what they do to you, right? They play on your emotions, say, hey, you need this, you need this, you need this, right? And then you spend all this money, and it's just like the boot camps, right? Because they're like, I've spoken to people before, and they're like, oh, I'm taking the boot camp, then I'm going to go take this thing, I'm going to take that thing, and I'm going to go get ISTQB certified, and all this educational crap, right? And all this waste of time, effort, and money just to have some paperwork that is absolutely meaningless. What I think is much, much more important is experience. You like, and for you in particular, you have 5 years of experience in software testing, manual, and supposedly a background in automation. Why aren't you leveraging that? Why aren't you building upon that? Why are you doing why isn't the automation work that you're doing forefront? You do your testing, right? And then you do automation, right? Oh, because I work, I don't have time to do it at work. Who gives a crap, right? If you want to go somewhere, if you want to become an automation engineer, right? But you're a manual tester and you don't have the leeway to do it, or you don't have the time to do it, because doing manual testing, it takes up a lot of your time. And then when you find a bug and you have to retest and do regression tests with manually and everything like that, right? So what my mentality would be is, how can I build some things to simplify my life, right? So I'm a manual tester, right? But let me just write this automation code that's going to help me test more efficiently. Because when you write the automation code, it's the same way if you're doing it manually, right? You're just programming what you would do manually in an automated way. You just have to look at it and make sure there's like things look right, but the functionality can be tested by itself. So with that being said, like, no one asked for the ISTQB except for like very few places, right? So why would I be focused on the minute companies that ask for it when I can be focused on leveling up my technical skills and growing and doing real work, right? Doing real work that is going to add value into the marketplace and win that way, right? You're talking about is the training and the test is expensive. Well, the question is, do you really need it? And the answer is, I don't think so. Unless you're trying to get a very particular type of job that requires it, then I don't think you need it. You can't afford to fail. Well, I don't know about that, but because if you study hard enough, you should be able to pass it. Because many people and here's what I see from the ISTQB, right? This is what I see from the ISTQB. The people who pass it, but they don't have any experience, all they do is regurgitate nonsense that they've heard, but then when you ask them to actually do something, they have no idea what they're doing. And that's when the learning starts to happen. When you have no idea what you're doing and you have to figure it out, you have to figure that stuff out, that's when the learning and the growth starts to happen. All right. So keep that in mind. All right. Keep that in mind. All right. So that is that question. Let's wrap that bad boy up. All right. So let's stop the clock, put a 5-minute up for our last question of the night. The last question of the night. All right. So we are in good timing today. I love it. Look at that. Okay, so let's go to our next question.
Another one.
The question is, should I send my resume now or practice my Selenium and learn QA concepts a bit more? So it says, this post is carryover from my previous post asking about returning to my career as a QA automation engineer after a year and a half hiatus. Well, I didn't read that post, but whatever. Just to provide context, I have 3 years of work experience in this field. So get the out of here. Are you telling me that you had 3 years of experience and then you took a year and a half hiatus? You don't deserve to come back, to be honest with you. I didn't read the previous post, but you don't deserve to come back. Anyways, currently, I finished my resume, cover letter, and I'm in the process of revamping my LinkedIn profile from freelance tech writer. Oh my freaking God. You left being a QA engineer to being a freelance tech writer. Okay. I don't know what people are doing today. However, in between editing my LinkedIn, I'm reviewing my old Udemy courses on Selenium, and boy, I can definitely feel the rust because you were lollygagging for the past year and a half. Okay. I'm also concerned I won't precisely remember QA concepts aside from basics like what is smoke and regression testing. With that in mind, should I still send out resumes or focus on Selenium QA concepts first? Okay. So when I first read this title, I was going to like, well, you need to go and watch the video of why it's so damn hard to get into tech, right? But it turns out you do have some type of experience, although it was a year and a half ago when you were, and then you went to lollygag being a freelance tech writer, right? And now you want to come back. So you want to come back home now, like the prodigal QA engineer that you are, right? So because you have because you have some experience, right? And I think by you focusing on the QA, the Selenium QA concepts, you can pick those up pretty quick. It's like riding a bike, right? You might be a little shaky at the beginning, but then you're going to figure it out. But see, I knew I was going to do this. Let me start the clock. Sorry, good guy. But then it start. Okay, there we go. But here's the thing, right? Here is the thing. You need to continuously enhance your skills, right? That's why I do the coffee and kata Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, 3 days in the morning, wake up early. And the only reason I don't do it on Thursdays and on Tuesdays and Thursdays is because I have a jiu-jitsu class at 6:30 in the morning. So I'm already waking my mind up by figuring out that algorithm, right? And figuring out that how to get around that. You know, somebody trying to choke you or kill you. Shout out to Zach, right? And you know, we always need to be practicing, right? In the book, The Clean Coder, right? Robert C. Martin talks about professionalism in the engineering industry, right? And what does professionalism mean? Well, it's his belief that you should be putting an extra 15 to 20 hours a week outside of your regular job into practicing and to get better. I don't believe that the workplace is where you should be experimenting and necessarily learning. Like, you will learn stuff on the job, but that shouldn't be your primary learning ground. You should be spending time outside of work so that you can refine your skills, get better, right? If it's your craft, then you should be passionate about it and have it to be a good representation, right? So that's how I see that. And I think that you in your position, you could apply, but why does it have to be one or the other? I mean, you're freelance anyways. You make your schedule. Why can't you spend like an hour applying and then you spend 5 to 7 hours focusing on the QA concepts and Selenium and stuff like that? Now, while you're at it, you should focus on API testing, learning more about Playwright, learning more about Cypress, learning more about load testing. You know, there's so much more that you could do. So why, I don't understand the question. Why is it in either or? It should be a both. I'm gonna apply. When I was looking for another role, another position back in January of 2023, I had my whole calendar set up. Okay, I'm gonna be applying from this time to that time. When an interview came in, it's on the calendar. And I'm gonna be applying from that time to that time. Between this time and this time, I'm gonna be working on machine learning. I'm gonna be working on um, Python, on like learning Python, on full stack development. All like I had a very structured thing. And guess what? Learning Python makes me better QA engineer. Learning how to do full stack development for like web, HTML, CSS, Node, JavaScript, all that makes me a better QA engineer. Everything that I do makes me better at my craft, right? And like doing jujitsu makes me a better QA engineer, right? Breaking down like, okay, what went wrong? How do I prevent that from happening? Being able to think in real time, being able to pivot and stuff like that, right? And by the way, if you're interested in hearing more about jujitsu and my journey in jujitsu, and check out the a page that I just got set up. It's TCR Let's Talk BJJ, right? And you can check that out. You can get some additional jujitsu information if that's what you're interested in. I'm going to put jujitsu content on that channel, and then this one is going to be more of the technical stuff, but we might reference it every now and then. But when I do stuff about jujitsu, it's going to be on that channel, right? But the point is that you need to practice. You don't practice in battle. You don't learn in battle. You need to get that training ground so you can. And I think that and here's the thing: you're gonna apply. You're not gonna get any responses for a good while, right? It takes some time. Like if you know what you're doing, if your resume, because if your resume sucks in the first place, then it really doesn't matter, right? But if your resume is good, and you're not gonna apply today 9 times out of 10, you're not gonna apply today and get an interview request tomorrow. It might, because there's a bunch of resumes to filter through, right? So it might take some time. So that's why I'd say spend about an hour applying, and then spend about 6 to 8 hours working, learning, enhancing your skills. Get familiar with AWS. Get familiar with CI/CD tools like TeamCity, Jenkins, Circle CI, which is Circle CI I do want to get into, right? But those are the things that you have to do to help you level up. All right? It's not a either or. It's a both. All right? You have to do both if you want to win, okay? So, that is that question. Let's wrap that one up. And we can take the timer down. So, those were our questions for tonight, right? And like I said, since we have a little bit more time, I can show you the connect.techcoachralph.dev, and then I can give you how that came about. All right. Let's see. It's coming up. All right, here it goes. All right, and while it's coming up, hope you're enjoying the show, right? Hopefully that it provided you some valuable insight. If you haven't done so yet, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you can know every single time we go live. Check out the Patreon at www.techcoachralph.dev. All right, so let's take a look at this page, right? So this is connect.techcoachralph.dev. All right, so the way I came about it was, you guys heard of Linktree, right? And I was like, I have a Linktree, right? But they only allow you to put so much on it, and you have to use their domain and stuff like that. So I was like, I wonder if there's some type of open source Linktree, right? And I found one called LinkStack. So I was like, oh, let me see if I can implement this, right? And I read the instructions. I'm like, okay, this is pretty simple to do. So, but however, I was inspired by Keep It Techie, Josh at Keep It Techie, because he is a big Linux user. So I was like, well, I wonder if let me see if I can use the terminal to install this, right? So I got I downloaded the zip file from Link Stack, and I used the I SSH into the server, and I use the secure copy features to copy the zip file up to the server, and then I unzipped it on the server, and then I did all the configuration, and then I created a MySQL database to connect it to, right, all that good stuff. And now I have my own link tree. I can add as many links as I want to it, and you can even use it as a whole little application, like a whole website where you can like host other people's links and stuff like that. But I just have it for mine because that's the purpose of it. Connect.techcoachralph.dev. And I have the link to the Patreon where you can sign up for one-on-one coaching as well as exclusive content. You can if you have a minute, if you need a minute to connect with me, let's check me out on Minek, right? That's a pretty cool app. You can pay as you go, whether it's per message, per video chat, or per video call. All right. And then the time cost calculator. So respect your time. Like I always say, right? Respect your time. Don't let anyone disrespect your time. Your time is the only thing that you can never get back. So and this is my link tree, right? So it's my link stack. I have all my links over there. So you can check it out. And I'll drop it in the chat as well, right? Let's go to there you go. In the chat. Right? Boom. Connect.techcoachralph.dev. And it has a link to the website. It has a link to the social channels, YouTube, LinkedIn, Cash App, if you want to support it that way, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. And then if you need to invest your spare change, we have Acorns, mindless investing. I love Acorns. Like I've had it for like 5 years now, just dropping in a little bit of money every single week, as well as my roundups. And it's been absolutely amazing. I am about to cross a very, very good spot in there. So I'm just watching it grow. I'm just watching it grow. And then I have a link to sign up for Stash as well. If you're interested, I'm going to be adding some more links to this page. So like certain products like certain things that I might wear, or like certain books that I recommend. So I'm going to update this page to include a link to Clean Code and Clean Coder, as well as to the Winning Book by Tim Grover, Relentless by Tim Grover, and You Can't Hurt Me by David Goggins, and Never Finished by David Goggins. Right? I'm going to add those books to it so you can get some of the books that help shape my mindset and that never quitting attitude. All right. So that is the plan. That is the goal. That's what we're looking into. Okay. But yeah, definitely check out the connect.techcoachralph.dev. You can see some of the code in my GitHub. You can connect with me on Reddit, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook as well. But I'm mostly on LinkedIn and YouTube, right? Those are the best spots to catch me. All right. So that's how I came about that, right? I wanted my own link tree style site and connect it using my own domain, and I was able to do that installing this app, and it was a great learning experience as well. It was a great, absolutely stunning learning experience. Had some trials and tribulations that I had to figure out, but it was amazing. So I highly, highly recommend it. Okay. So with that being said, we are going to wrap it up for tonight, as it had in the Chappelle Show. That wrap it up box. Wrap that up, B. All right. So let's get to it. All right. So before we go, I'm going to ask you one last time, if you enjoyed the show, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live. Like the video, share the video, all that good stuff. Check out the Patreon if you need one-on-one coaching or access to exclusive content that you will not get anywhere else in the world. Check out www.techcoachralph.dev. All right. But before we go, you know what I have to ask you. You know what I have to ask you. All right. The question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
and remember, the more and more that we grow, the less capacity that I start to have. And you know what that means, right? When I'm almost at full capacity.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick will be going up. All right. So you better invest in yourself now while the prices are still low. Okay. But with that being said, we're gonna take off. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I was able to add immense value into your life. And we are going to take off for the night, but we'll be back on Thursday night for more software explorations, where we're going to continue doing the automation work on the Calculus Coders website. And we're going to be using Selenium, Playwright, and Cypress. All right. But until next time, my friends, my family, my tech barbarians, my tech prodigy, my tech explorers, and all of the amazing subscribers and non-subscribers as well, I thank you for being here with me. And I'll be live tomorrow morning, Coffee and Kata show, 7:15 a.m. Come and join me on that. If you're up that early, maybe you're taking the kids to work, or the kids to work. What's wrong with me? Maybe you're taking the kids to school, or you're driving to work, whatever the case may be, right? Tune in, talk to me in the chat. Let me know how's it going, and we will go from there. Okay. So I'll see you guys in the morning or on Thursday night. Who knows, right? I'll be here. Will you? I hope you are. All right. On that note, this is Tech Coach Ralph with another episode of our Q&A night, signing off for the night of Tuesday, January 23rd, 2024. We are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Hear me, warriors of the North. Today we have tasted the sweet nectar of victory. Our foes indeed defeated, and their lands are now bowed before us. The gods themselves have favored our glorious deeds on this glorious day. We have shed blood, sweat, and tears to claim this land. Our relentless spirit, our unyielding determination, these are the very essence of our people. It's been our ancestors rejoice in the halls of Valhalla. For today, we have added to their eternal glory. Our victories will echo throughout the ages, and our names will be etched in the annals of history. But let us not forget the price we paid, the brothers and sisters we lost. They now feast in the hall of our forefathers, watching over us with pride. Their sacrifice has paved the way for this moment of triumph. As we celebrate this conquest, let us also remember that our journey is far from over. More land awaits our conquest, more battles upon us forth, and the fire in our hearts burn ever brighter, for there is no limit to what we can achieve. To those who dare stand against us, let them tremble in fear, for they shall witness the fury of the northern storm, the wrath of the untamed barbarians. Today we celebrate our victory. Tomorrow we set our sights on new horizons. Uncharted land where our banners will fly high. We are Vikings, we're barbarians, we are masters of conquest.